all, this is Jeanette K Caines from Jewelry Arts Inc. In this video, I'm going to show you a couple of my best techniques for soldering a bail onto a pendant safely.
So I want you to check it out. Look at this gorgeous pendant that Sandy has made. Isn't that pretty? So basically everything is done except we're getting ready to solder our lovely bail shut. All right, we got our seam right there. And I already warned Sandy ahead of time that she did a beautiful job on her pendant, but this is not how I would recommend she solder it shut. So we left it there to be instructive. So as a safety principle, you don't want to put your third arm on hollow things like a bezel and then heat it, because if it gets hot enough, it can crush. Ask me how I know. Now, don't get me wrong, we're really not focusing our heat there, but it's just like it's a bad practice. You'll get dings, you'll get whatever. And so there's that. And also, I just don't like to have things up in the air when I need to solder like this. It's much easier just to lay it flat on your block. Now, we've talked about this before, right? Where the whole key to like soldering a bail shut or something where like, you're concerned, right? You don't want your other jump ring to melt. The solder that's there. You don't want any of that to move or melt or anything like that. So although we can certainly use like ochre or a soldering mud or something like that to block it, most of the time, the main thing that I do is I just direct my flame away from there. So for example, the seam is right here, right? So I take it and I pretty much just position it as far away from this as possible, right? And when I put my flame on it, I'm going to point my flame like this so that the overflow of the flame is pointing out here and not hitting anything. Most of the time that people get in trouble with shit like this is because they're going to solder it like, pretend this is my flame like this, right? They're looking here. Meanwhile, the torch is hitting here and bad, naughty things are happening. So one of the main ways that you protect yourself is just by pointing the flame in the other direction. I mean, that's like 95% of it. If this were much smaller and it was so close and tight and I was really worried, I could put a little ochre there or a little soldering mud or something, but I don't really think I need it in a case like this. So just keep that in mind, because your flame is doing something the whole time, even if you're not looking at it. So keep that in mind. So normally what I do, I cut a few little pieces of, I think it's 18 karat. All I normally do is I put a tiny little dab of paste flux on here, like so. I'm going to dry it a little bit, and then I'm going to put a piece of solder on there. Now, you can use a square, you can use a ball. With something like this, it's a little bit easier to use the square because it spans the two sides of the seam a little easier, And have you ever had, like, you try to solder something like this and you end up with just like a lump on one side? Everyone's going like, yes. So that happens when you're only touching one side of the seam. So that's why it's so important to get to touch both. And also, if your ball of solder is too big, it's going to tend to run off of there. So like, you can use it, but I find the little squares in a case like this is usually the most cooperative. So I'm just going to dry that off, and I'm going to stick my little piece of solder there, and that's going to be that. And honestly, the explanation takes way longer than actually doing it, which takes like 2 seconds. Also, it's small. We could go down to a 00 tip, but I'm not going to. Okay, dry it. Okay, I'll let Alexis do a little tiny close-up of that just so you can see. You see how my little piece of solder is right there? It's touching both sides of the seam, which is what I want. And I'm going to point my flame across like this, right? So my flame out here can't hurt anybody, can't do anything bad or naughty. Now for me, if you're just started soldering, you're lucky to use one hand and be happy with it. I've been soldering a long time, so you notice even though I'm right-handed, I do tend to use the torch on my left hand quite a bit so that I can have my torch ready, because things fucking move all the time. So as you're getting a little more practice, you're going to want to start sort of practicing the whole two-handed technique, because it does make more complicated soldering a lot more doable, because you don't have to like turn the flame off, move it, you know how that all goes. Okay, so I'm just going to shift this over here a little bit so I can see it. You see what I mean? It's like literally to do it takes like 10 seconds. Now I'm going to add one more piece there. I'm going to say this very diplomatically, but perhaps the seam could have been a little tighter, but I'll never tell. So I'm just going to put one more little piece of solder in there to make sure it's all the way filled. Okay. Okay. In theory, it could have been a little tighter. Okay. And guess what method I'm going to use? The same fucking method. I put a piece of solder there. See that? And it runs right in there. Beautiful. That's it. Okay.